Hex, whenever people ask me what's my favourite game of all time, I always think of Resident Evil #1, and it's because it's the first game that made me feel any sort of real emotion, which in that case was fear. Those dogs through the window. But ever since Resident Evil 4, they've really been focused more on action, and they've still been good, but not quite the same. All that changes with Resident Evil Revelations, which is on the 3DS.
This sunny and idyllic Mediterranean coast was the site of one of the world's greatest structures.
The floating city of Terra Grigia was set up to run as a solar-powered, eco-friendly city, the sort of place we'd imagine living after an apocalypse. Clean, cut off, and self-sustaining. A biological terrorist attack by an organisation known as Veltro turned the city into a biohazard. Jill Valentine and Chris Redfield continue to pursue the terrorists and are sent to the cruise ship the SS Queen Zenobia, only to discover zombies!
Oh no! The story is a little complicated, and it does bounce between different characters and locations and times as well. But every chapter has a previously on
Resident Evil Revelations.
which is fantastic. And I know we say this every time, Hex, but every game needs a previously on system, I think.
Agreed, it's so fantastic to know what's going on, and the variety of characters and locations really mixes things up when it gets a bit stale. And it looks great too. A nice amount of colour, enemies look excellent, and when they start chowing down on your neck, it's utterly terrifying. Get off, get off, get off! Part of the reason why it looks so good is because it's all set in these tiny rooms, so the hardware doesn't have to work so hard to generate the detail. And you can play this in 3D, but as usual, I turned it off pretty quickly.
Yeah, I thought they did an okay job with the 3D, but the thing is, you really want the circle pad add-on to play this game. It just means you have camera control, and it's a lot better. And when you have that, because it's not completely centered, you tend to hold it a little bit like that, and that ruins the 3D effect. Also, you can shoot and move at the same time, which has been missing from most of the Resident Evil games.
I'd also recommend turning on third-person view for your zoom in. The default setting is first-person, and it's a little bit disorientating.
Definitely. The best part about this game is this Resident Evil feels old school, but it doesn't play like an old game. So you'll be doing all that classic Resident Evil stuff. You'll be going back to areas you've already been to with keys. You'll probably get harassed by something new along the way. You'll get to a point and go, oh, now I've got this. I can go back to this point and do that thing. It's a very clever level design.
Yeah, it does a really good job of surprising you and just pushing that suspense. I did find the 3D map a little bit tricky to navigate though, but I love the cruise ship location. It's such a cool idea, and you really feel stranded on this apparently abandoned ship.
Yeah, although most of the time you do have an AI partner with you, and I'm starting to miss being alone in games, Hex. I feel like every game now has to have some co-op AI guy with me at all times.
Yeah, but they don't really do much anyway, so you may as well be alone. The other locations are impressive too, and there's enough variety in enemies to keep you busy.
Ammo is strategically scarce, and you will run out and you will get backed into a corner and have to have an old-fashioned zombie knife fight. But if things do get a bit tough, you can use your scanner to search for hidden items to help you out. There are simple puzzles where you'll use the touch screen, but this is all about the atmosphere, the pacing, and the action, and all of that works very well.
There's a beautiful elegance to the combat here as well. Headshots are of course priceless, but there's also a risk associated with them because the enemies' heads tend to duck about a little bit more than normal. Either way, you have to carefully manage your reloads and take advantage of those quick kill melee moments whenever they come up.
Yeah, no matter how careful you are, fights can always go wrong. But at almost any time you can improve your health status with a herb, and they've done a few tweaks like that just to streamline the combat and keep everything moving. There's also an online raid mode where you and a friend team up to take down enemies through a variety of locations from the campaign. But I have no idea how I unlocked it, Hex. It was about 4 or 5 hours into the campaign, then suddenly, bam, raid mode, multiplayer, online. Oh, great. I found the menus a bit confusing, to be honest.
It's just stupid that multiplayer isn't there from the beginning, though.
The only reason I could think of is that maybe they don't want to spoil the locations for you by having you play them in multiplayer first, but I still think it should have been there from the start, considering how much fun it is. Did you miss not having any co-op in the single-player game?
As much as I really wanted co-op with this game like 5 had, I can see that it's more designed for that exploration, so that's better suited to single player, I think.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. In fact, I never want to have co-op in Resident Evil again. This reminded me how much fun this game was, and I loved it. I loved every part of it. I'm giving it 9 out of 10 rubber chickens. It's a fantastic addition to the franchise.
I think the terrible voice acting is now more of a nostalgic hit than a criticism.
Damn it, I don't have a signal. Maybe the antenna array is out.
It's on the observation deck. Maybe we can fix it. I'm sure the view is nice.
It's a wonderfully stressful game. I'm giving it 8.5 out of 10.